Good morning, students. In the previous class, we studied about different methods which are involved in the concentration of ore. That is, concentration of ore involves various methods. One is hydraulic washing. Other one is called as magnetic separation, and third one is flow flotation technique, and the fourth one is a leaching process, and the fifth one is called as oxidation and reduction methods. These are the different methods which are involved in concentration of ore. After concentration of ore here, then you go for the second step is called as, that is, calcination or roasting. The ore must be calcined or roasted. It is. Then what is meant by calcination and what is meant by this roasting? This here during calcination roasting, here we are converting the sulfide ores into their oxide ores. This is the main principle in this process we are doing. It is calcination and roasting. It is. And what is calcination? Calcination means here the process of heating concentrated ore in the limited supply of air or absence of air. During this process here, for example, here you are taken, this is called as hematite ore. The hematite ore means it is Fe2O3. It also contains some moisture like water molecules here. During calcination, when this ore is heated here, in the absence of air, the water molecules are removed here. You will get, this is Fe2O3 here, and water molecules are removed here. Like that, you will get oxide ore of iron like this. And also similarly here, in case of carbonate ore, this is calcium carbonate. When calcium carbonate on strong heating here, it gives calcium oxide and says CO2. Similarly, in case of magnesium carbonate, on strong heating in the absence of air, you will get magnesium oxide and CO2 gas. Like that here, the carbonate ores contained it is their oxide ores here. This is the main, there is a technique that is called as involved here. This is called as calcination. It is easy to reduce metal oxides into metals here by using suitable reducing agents. That's why here we are first we go for this calcination or it is roasting it. Then what about it is roasting here? What is the difference between roasting and calcination? Here roasting means the process of heating concentrated ore in the presence of air or oxygen. For example, here in the roasting process, during this roasting process here, we are using we are supplying oxygen. And in the roasting method, for example, we are taken, this is called as zinc sulfide ore here. When zinc sulfide ore is heated in the presence of oxygen here, you will get zinc oxide, and also SO2 gas is removed. SO2 gas is avoided. We are removing the sulfur in the form of sulfur dioxide. Then you will get zinc oxide. To convert sulfide ores into oxide ores here, this can be heated with oxygen here. This is called as roasting. This is. And one more here, same, this is method, this is lead sulfide ore. When lead sulfide ore is heated with oxygen here, then you will get lead oxide, and also you will get 2SO2 here. Then this is, we are converting lead sulfide to lead oxide here in the roasting process. This is called as roasting method. This is. That's why after concentration of ore, then you go for calcination or roasting. It is. The difference between calcination and roasting is, in calcination, the concentrated ore is heated in the absence of air. In the roasting process here, this concentrated ore is heated in the presence of oxygen. Here we will get respective oxide, metal oxides, and this is called as roasting. These are the two important process which are used in the roasting and calcination techniques. Then after the roasting and calcination here, then you go for this reduction process. And what is the reduction here? The reduction of metal oxides. For example, here this is called as metal oxide MX, and this is OY here. When this metal oxide is treated with any reducing agents, for example, R is called as reducing agent, where R nothing but reducing agent. When R reacts with metal oxides, then you will get XM here, and also taken Y. This is called as Y. This is RO here. This is called as a reducing agent is one which undergo oxidation, or a reducing agent is one which removes oxygen from metallic oxides. This is called as a reducing agent. MX OY plus YR, you will get XM and YR. This is called as metal. Here, generally, in most of the metallurgical process here, the carbon acts as a reducing agent. So many the metals here, the carbon acts as a reducing agent. Says. Then, instead of using this is here is R. If you are using like this C, coke as a reducing agent, then here we get this is Y and this is CO. This is here coke acts as a reducing agent. It removes oxygen from metallic oxide. It converts metallic oxide into metals. Then you will get this is crude metal. This is crude metal. You will get this is. This is the this process is called as a reduction. This is reduction, and this reduction here can be done in this is by using suitable reducing agents based on this is Ellingham diagrams. Ellingham diagrams are the plots of these are Ellingham diagrams which are involved in the metallurgy of iron, and during in the metallurgy of iron here, this is a carbon curve here. C plus O2 gives CO2, 2C plus O2 gives 2CO, and 2CO plus O2 gives 2CO. Here Fe plus half O2 gives FeO. Here this is iron curve. This is called carbon monoxide. This is a carbon curve here. This is a carbon dioxide curve here. These are the different curves which are using in Ellingham diagrams. And what are Ellingham diagrams? Ellingham diagrams are the plots of change in Gibbs energy versus temperatures. This is temperature and free energy basis. And these thermodynamic principles are taken based on a Gibbs equation. That the Gibbs equation is delta G equal to delta H minus T delta S. According to thermodynamics, delta G equal to negative. If delta G equal to negative here, then the reaction is spontaneous. And delta G is negative here when TdS value is higher when compared to delta H value. When TdS value is higher when compared to delta H value, delta G becomes negative, that reaction becomes spontaneous. That's why here, during formation of metallic oxides, from its metals here, entropy goes on and decreases. When entropy decreases, it becomes a negative value here delta S, minus into minus becomes a plus, and this is called as always delta H for the formation of metallic oxides. Then delta G must be here, delta G becomes delta G equal to delta H plus T delta S. As the temperature increases, this TdS value is more than delta H value. As temperature increases, TdS value more than delta H value, then this TdS value is positive here, then delta G becomes more and more positive here by increasing temperature. That's why all the curves moves upwards as temperature increases. In Ellingham diagrams here, temperature increases here, then delta G becomes more and more positive value here, all the curves moves upwards. That indicates the metallic oxides are thermally unstable at high temperature, except this carbon monoxide curve. This is 2C plus O2 2CO here, it moves downwards. The carbon monoxide curve here more stable here at high temperature. As temperature increases here, stability goes on increases for carbon monoxide. Since here entropy becomes positive here. Here entropy of this carbon monoxide is positive. Here this entropy becomes negative here. That's why all the curves moves it upwards. And these Ellingham diagrams mainly explains the thermal stability of metallic oxides, unstability of metallic oxides. As temperature increases, all the curves moves upwards here. That indicates delta G becomes more and more positive value. When delta G becomes more positive value here, then the metallic oxides are thermally unstable. The metallic oxide convert into metals like this. This is the main importance of Ellingham diagrams. Then when these Ellingham diagrams are used in the extraction of iron from hematites. Coming to this extraction of iron from hematites. During extraction of iron from hematite here, you have so many minerals of iron here. The iron minerals nothing but this is Fe2O3 hematite and Fe3O4 magnetite and FeCO3 siderite. This is carbonate ore of iron, and FeS2 is called as iron pyrites. These are the different ores of iron. Among these ores here, generally the rich content of iron is present in hematite and magnetite here, and these oxide ore site is suitable for the extraction of iron here. Then we are in blast furnace here, mainly we are taken this is the ore of hematite and magnetite ores. Then this is a blast furnace here. The blast furnace is a tall cylindrical tower here. Nearly this is 30 to 36 meters height here, and width about it is 8 to 10 meters width is there. And the highest temperature zone at the bottom of the furnace, this is about 2200 Kelvin temperature. Here we are passing hot air, blast of hot air we are passing, blast of hot air with oxygen we are passing. This is a blast of hot air. This is hot air you are passing for burning of coke. Here we are adding a charge is introduced in the top of the furnace. A charge consists of 8:1:4 ratio of 8:1:4 ratio of ore and limestone and coke. 8:1:4 ratio of ore, limestone and coke are introduced into a furnace here. Then the following reactions are takes place. Then, and this blast furnace have temperature gradients here. You have different temperature zones here. The highest temperature present at the bottom of the furnace at about 2200 Kelvin here, and it is supplied by the combustion of coke. Here coke acts as fuel. When coke burnt with oxygen, it gets carbon dioxide, and this reaction is exothermic in nature. It produces a large amount of heat. This coke again this carbon dioxide again combines with coke. Here you will get carbon monoxide, and this reaction is endothermic reaction, and this is called as exothermic reactions. And here coke acts as a reducing agent here, and coke acts as a fuel here, and also reducing agent. Here carbon monoxide acts as a reducing agent at lowest temperature zones. Then in the combustion zone, temperature at about 1800 to 2200 Kelvin temperature. Then what about here? This is slag formation zone here, and here the ore is mixed with limestone. Here limestone acts as flux. And to remove here the acidic impurity like silica, which is present in hematite ore or magnetite ore, here we are adding limestone as a flux. And in the slag formation zone, here temperature at about 1200 Kelvin here, and calcium carbonate decomposes gives calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. This is decomposition reaction takes place at this temperature, and this calcium oxide here combines with some of the impurity which are present in hematite ore or magnetite ore, like this is called as acidic silica. To remove this acidic silica, here calcium oxide combines with silica, you will get calcium silicate as slag. This is called as slag, and this is gong nothing but unwanted material which are present in the ore, silica, and this is called as a basic flux. This is basic in nature, and to remove acidic flux we are using to remove acidic impurity we are using basic flux here. This basic flux combines with acidic impurity like silica, you will get calcium silicate as slag. And this is slag formed here in the upper portion of the pig iron here, and it prevents further oxidation of this iron. And what the reaction takes place in the low temperature at the zone, nothing but at the upper part of the furnace. At the upper part of the blast furnace here, these are the following reaction takes place at about 500 to 800 Kelvin temperature. This is hematite combines with carbon monoxide. When carbon burnt with oxygen, you will get carbon dioxide combines with carbon, you will get carbon monoxide, and these carbon monoxide gases rises top of the furnace. And by adding these ore particles from the top of the furnace here, then the reduction takes place at the lowest temperature zone according to Ellingham diagrams. According to Ellingham diagrams here, this is a temperature zone. This is a temperature at about 1073 Kelvin temperature here. At this temperature here, carbon monoxide curve lies below that of iron oxide curve. When carbon monoxide curve lies below that of iron oxide curve here, it has more delta G negative value, it has less delta G negative value here. That means this carbon monoxide is more stable here. Carbon monoxide is more stable when compared to iron oxide, and it acts as reducing agent here for iron. It reduces iron oxide into iron. This is the main principle which is involved this is a blast furnace. Then here at low temperature, below 1073 Kelvin. At low temperature, below this temperature, here carbon monoxide acts as a reducing agent for iron. But at a higher temperature here, this is called carbon monoxide curve here. This is called as iron curve, and this carbon monoxide is unable to reduce iron here at more than 1073 Kelvin temperatures. This is a temperature in kelvins here. Then above this temperature here, the carbon monoxide curve lies this is iron curve lies below that of CO here, and the CO in upper portion here, and it is unable to reduce iron. Instead of carbon monoxide here, Here carbon curve lies below that of iron here, then carbon acts as good reducing agent at higher temperature, above 1073 Kelvin temperature. But in actual process here, in the blast furnace here, reduction of iron oxide takes place at lowest temperature here, below 1073 Kelvin here. That's why carbon monoxide acts as reducing agent here to reduce iron oxide into iron. This is hematite here combines with carbon monoxide raised in the blast furnace. You will get this is Fe3O4 and this is CO2. And this Fe3O4 combines with carbon monoxide, you will get this is called as pig iron here. And Fe2O3 combines with the CO, you will get iron oxide and CO2 here. This iron oxide combines with the carbon here, you will get Fe and CO. And this reaction takes place at high temperatures, above 1073 Kelvin temperature. And this is below 1073 Kelvin temperature, this one. And this is called as at above 1073 Kelvin here, coke acts as reducing agent for iron. Then this Fe3O4 combines with CO, will get 3FeO and CO2 here. And this iron obtained in this process is called as in this process which contains 4% carbon as impurity here. This is the reduction takes place in the blast furnace. It contains 4% carbon. The 4% carbon impurity present in pig iron here. This is pig iron. This is the highest impurity present in pig iron, 4%. Then this pig iron is very brittle in nature here, and this pig iron again treated with pig iron is treated with iron scraps. When iron scraps are treated with the pig iron here, then the carbon present in the pig iron is oxidized into carbon monoxide here, and it is escaped here. Then you will get cast iron. This is a cast iron. It becomes this, and cast iron contains 3% of carbon. And this cast iron is very hard and also brittle in nature, Again, this cast iron is treated with some hematite ore, nothing but Fe2O3 here. And Fe2O3 again combines with the carbon which are present in cast iron. The cast iron contains some extent of 3% carbon here. The carbon which is present in cast iron combines with Fe2O3 here. Then you will get this is Fe here, 2Fe, and also you will get this is 3CO here. It removes the carbon impurity present in the cast iron here. The percentage of carbon in the cast iron decreases here. This is called as wrought iron. Nothing but this is the purest form of iron obtained. It is soft in nature, and it is also malleable in nature. This is malleable and ductile in nature. This is the purest form of iron here. This is called as wrought iron. And the wrought iron is obtained by heating cast iron with hematite here. The carbon content which is present in cast iron is oxidized in carbon monoxide. Then you will get wrought iron. This is the purest form of iron. This is also called as a commercial iron here, and it is a highly malleable iron. This is about extraction of iron from its hematite ore or magnetite ore here. This is the main important reaction that are taking place in blast furnace. One is a reduction zone, or one is a combustion zone, or one is a slag formation zone, and these three zones are more important here. And what is the role of carbon monoxide? Carbon monoxide acts as a reducing agent. The role of here carbon acts as it is fuel as well as reducing agent at the highest temperature. And here what is the role of limestone means here limestone acts as flux. To remove this acidic impurity here, that is silica, you will get calcium silicate. These are the main important points regarding this is extraction of iron from hematite. And for extraction in the metallurgy of iron here, and these Ellingham diagrams are more important. Ellingham diagrams are suitable for selection of good reducing agents. Based on the selection of choice of reducing agents, we are using Ellingham diagrams. Ellingham diagrams are the plots of change in free energy versus Gibbs energy versus temperature for various metallic oxides and some non-metal series. These are called as Ellingham diagrams here, which are used for the selection of good reducing agent to reduce metallic oxide into metals. And in case of metallurgy of iron here, at lowest temperature carbon monoxide curve lies below that of iron. That's why it acts as reducing agent for iron here. But at the higher temperature, the carbon line is below that of iron here. Then carbon acts as reducing agent for iron. Okay, next. Then this is about extraction of iron here. Then coming, this is one more metal. that is called as extraction of copper from its oxide, extraction of copper from its oxides, that is called as cuprite, copper 1 oxide, like that it is. Then how do you extract copper? Extraction of copper. Extraction of copper. Extraction of copper from copper oxides. For extraction of copper from copper oxide, here there are so many ore minerals are available here. You know very well about this is FeS2. This is called as copper pyrites, and this is CuCO3 and CuOH taken twice. This is called as malachite, the ore of copper. R1 is called as cuprite, Cu2O. R1 is Cu2S. This is called as copper glans here. These are the different ores or minerals available for the extraction of copper test. Then, if you are using that is copper pyrites as a ore for extraction of copper, that is CuFeS2, copper pyrites. When these copper pyrites on oxidation, that is called as roasting. If you are doing roasting and that is copper pyrites on heating with oxygen here, then you taken this is 2Cu here, you will get Cu2S, and also you will get 2FeS. Then this is 2SO2. This is, and this mixture Cu2S and FeS, this mixture is called as copper mate. This mixture is called as copper mate. Says. Then when this Cu2S here undergo roasting, this is roasting means here heated in presence of oxygen. Then on heating this copper sulfide with this is oxygen here, then you will get this is Cu2O here and here 2SO2. You will get copper 1 oxide or copper oxides. And this copper oxide here, copper oxide treated with coke or carbon here raised, then you will get it is 2Cu here plus you will get this is CO. This is called as blister copper will get. This is copper will get. Here, what is the role of coke here? Coke acts as a reducing agent. It acts as reducing agent. It reduces copper oxide into copper discs. This is the reactions that take place for the extraction of copper here. But in actual process here, this copper sulfides or copper sulfide or copper pyrites are heated in a reverberatory furnace. A reverberatory furnace is lined with sand or silica here. That is, this is when reverberatory furnace is lined with silica or sand is heated with this copper sulfides here, then the following reactions are take place. Here, why we are using silica in the that is extraction of copper means here sand or silica which is used to remove the basic impurity like iron oxide which is present in this is ore here. This ore contains some iron impurity here. To remove this iron impurities here, we are using sand or silica. Then what the reaction takes place? Actual process here. This is 2Cu2S plus this is 3O2. You will get 2Cu2O here plus this is 2SO2. This is the reaction. Copper sulfide burnt with oxygen. Here you will get copper oxide and SO2. Similarly, here it also contains some extent of iron sulfides. This is iron sulfide here. When iron sulfide also burnt with oxygen, then you will get iron oxides. Iron oxide, and this is 2SO2. Then to remove this iron oxide here, this is iron oxide as impurity. This is also called as impurity, nothing but gang. To remove this gang, we are adding sand. Sand may contain silica. Then this silica acts as flux. Then this flux combines with gang like iron oxide which is present in ore. You will get iron silicate as slag. This is called as iron silicate slag. In the metallurgy of iron here, you will get calcium silicate as slag. But in the metallurgy of copper here, you are getting iron silicate as a slag case. Then this copper, this is Cu2O copper oxide here combines with that is Cu2S, Cu2S, and Cu2O combines with Cu2S here you will get 6 Cu here, and this is S combines with oxygen you will get this SO2, removal of this is carbon dioxide, this sorry sulfur dioxide, it is avoided, it is. And this copper obtained is called as blister copper. It is blister in nature. This copper is called as blister copper. These are the actual reactions that are taking place in the extraction of copper. Here it is. This is copper obtained is called as impure copper. It is blister copper. Okay. Thank you.